You know, today's an interesting day. I was reflecting on it early this morning. Where's Walt? Walt, I almost called you at 3 a.m. this morning. Walt's a very, very important board member at the West End School and a great friend of mine. I was thinking about what I would want to say to this group. First thing I want to say is good morning, boys. Good morning. Can I get that good morning back a little louder? There you go. Thank you, guys. Thanks for being out here. I know you didn't want to come out of class. The first thing that we're supposed to do is I'm supposed to welcome everybody. If I welcomed everybody I know and respect and value in this crowd, that would be the 35, 45 minutes you don't want to spend. But I will tell you, the mayor's with us. And it's really important that he showed up because he was originally on my list to be here with the First Lady, Rachel, and she had a conflict. She's not here. That helps me out a lot because my First Lady, Annabelle, wouldn't have liked me to call anybody First Lady but her. All right. Welcome to everybody. All the guests. Flo Mamas, are they here? There they go. All right. First thing we've got to do, housekeeping, is we got to ask I think Dan Hall is going to give us a blessing. Is that not right, Dan? Dan's our board chair. He very successfully, after 15 years of myself being the board chair, pulled a coup, and then he and Barry Barlow got me out of the chair. So Dan Hall, our board chair, would like to say something.
Thank you, Paul. Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this glorious sunny morning. We thank you, Lord, for the Western School. We thank you for the students, the parents, our board members, our volunteers, our financial supporters. We just thank you for providing the resources for us to serve these students. We thank you for the opportunity to enlarge our mission, Lord, to serve girls in this community. So we're so grateful. We pray that your hand will continue to be on this school and the girls' school as we endeavor to just serve your community. In your son's name I pray, amen.
What we're going to do now is we're really going to talk about why we're all here today. And it's obviously a groundbreaking ceremony first. And it's a groundbreaking of very, very huge proportions for the West End School because it's a groundbreaking because right here where you sit, we're going to build a girls' school. And we're going to talk about that throughout. But look, to get to the girls' school, a lot of things had to happen. We've been here 19 years. I've been here since day one. There's a handful of people out here that have been here since day one. Rev Ockert's sitting right there. But what we want to do first is we want our president of our school, head of schools, Dr. Greg Ross, to come up here and talk to us a little bit about where we came from, why we're here, and where we're going. Before that, I need to say something about him. 6 o'clock this morning, he calls me, and he didn't call me, he texts me. He says, I need to talk to you. There's only one reason that the head of the schools texts you at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's usually a problem. And all he was doing was calling me to tell me something that I can't do up here. So, to the follow the president's wishes, I won't do what he didn't want me to do. But I will introduce him. Where's he at? There he is. Come on, Smiley. Dr. Greg Ross.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to all of our distinguished guests, from Senator Neal, Councilwoman Hawkins, the mayor, all of our distinguished guests. And I got to say, the support that we have seen from this community is immense and amazing. This time last year, many of you know, I was a superintendent in another school district in the state of Kentucky. And for an African American to be a superintendent is a pretty big deal because it's only been 9 of us in history. But when I came to visit the West End School last year, it literally changed my life. You know, and a couple of you all have heard me share this story before. Well, literally, I've spent 20 years working in schools, majority of them in impoverished communities, high minority, low socioeconomic standing, and we've had academic success. Unfortunately, every time I left, the success went with it. I wasn't able to maintain it. I thought, well, what if I stay a little longer? I'll build my leadership team better. It'll maintain. And every time I left, the success went with it. Well, that's not West End. West End is fortunate enough to say that we have 100% graduation rate. We're fortunate enough to say that our alumni come back and support the students that are here. Some of them are in the stands right now. Some of them are actually on our board. We are fortunate enough to say that our community embraces us, and from our flow parents to our community partners, they're here. Ms. Hawkins, Councilwoman Hawkins, has literally walked this step with us, and I'm so grateful that she's here today. But she's literally walked with us through this process just because she believes in what we're doing. So we just want to say thank you. But what we're doing supersedes my words, because when you look at our community and they say that 1 out of 6 kids are academically failing, that's not us. When they say that 1 out of 4 minority students are failing, that's not us. Well, we're fortunate enough to say that our scores not only compete with, but supersede the state averages. And we're very excited about that. We have recently created partnerships with U of L. I see Dean Collins here today, and their support with our alumni, allowing them scholarship opportunities. We've recently inked a deal with Kentucky State that our graduates would get a full scholarship to Kentucky State University. We have MOU agreements with Bellarmine, and we're looking to do that with all of our both state and private schools in the state of Kentucky and in Southern Indiana. So this is a special opportunity for us to change the trajectory of our young men. A lot of people make judgments and have an idea where they can go. But we don't just see current elementary students that live on the West End. We see future doctors, future lawyers, future politicians, future pro athletes. We have literally the possibility to change not only the trajectory of our students, but this community. So us being able to provide the same opportunity to the young ladies of this community is truly going to change Louisville. And I think that deserves a round of applause. So before I go, I want to show you and explain to you who we are.
I am a winner. I am a winner. I live in a country where I have freedom of thoughts and expression. I understand that with each right and privilege comes responsibility. It is my choice to learn or not to learn, but I must be willing to accept the consequences of that choice. And I must never think that those who chose to work while resting and play will share the rewards with me. Through education, I developed my talents for the benefit of mankind. This is my time, my place. I will accept the challenge. We are time to time together scholars. We persevere through challenges. We show respect to all. Where we go and make a good impression. Our confidence leads to success. And turn the expect in our brotherhood. We are the West End School Soaring Eagles. To be a man, to be responsible.
Thank you so much, Paul and Dr. Ross, for the invitation to be with you all here today. This is really a great example of partnerships, of folks coming together to make big and bold and important things happen. And this new school is just one example of that that's happening across the community. It's also the way that I like to work as well in public service, and I know I'm joined here today by 2 other great public servants who feel the same way, that we work together in partnership to promote education for our city and our students at every chance that we can, and to promote investments in all of the 9 neighborhoods of West Louisville, to continue to invest in these neighborhoods that have been overlooked for far too long. Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins, Senator Gerald Neal, it is a pleasure to work with both of you. We are making great progress by working together with the state, by working in partnership, Metro Council and city government. And just like you all are working in partnership, great things can happen when we all work together. My proof left of what I'm getting ready to say, but when I got here this morning and was talking to some of the boys, I asked the 8th graders who I first met, are you all excited about a new girls' school? And they all said in unison, yes, even though none of them will be here. I then met the 2nd graders. I asked them the same question, and they equally as enthusiastic said, no. However, I am so thrilled, and I know all of us here today are so thrilled to see the West End School's continued growth. My wife Rachel has volunteered here several times, was just here a couple weeks ago. I've had many tours here as well, and to see what has happened over the past 20 years of this incredible institution is just absolutely amazing. And it's so exciting to see that young women are now going to be part of this initiative and this important educational institution in our community. Just a couple of quick thanks. First, a giant thanks to Lawson and to Jill and to Campbell and to everybody with Brown-Forman for your amazing support of this institution. It is so important, and I know you all have done so much for our community in so many different ways, and this is just yet one more example of the contributions that you all have made. And thanks, Fred, for you and participating in this great fundraising initiative as well. There's some great bourbons I know that make many people happy, and it's going to also help build this wonderful school. This year, this time of year, we're always focused on Derby, particularly this year with the historic 150th Kentucky Derby right around the corner. It's a great time to celebrate all the great things that are happening in our city across the entire year. But it's also a great time for us to look inward and think about where we are as a city and where we're headed, so we can showcase that to the world. And so this announcement could not come at a better time to continue the amazing momentum that we have with new investments right here in West Louisville. We just opened a few weeks ago the Goodwill Opportunity Campus. The Norton Hospital is getting ready to open in just a few months later this year. We celebrated a new investment of MMY, which is now going to be building modular homes in the Parkland neighborhood. And this investment here in the West End School expansion is just one more of these great initiatives. Tomorrow, I'll be presenting my proposed budget to Councilwoman Hawkins and her colleagues on Metro Council. And we are going to propose to continue the investments in parks, in libraries, here in the West End and in other places around our city, because every neighborhood is so important, and neighborhoods like here in West Louisville should no longer be overlooked by the public sector or by the private sector. We need to continue making these important investments. And there is no better investment that can be made than in our kids, than in their educations. It's one of the reasons why tomorrow I'm going to continue to talk about the need for our city to invest in pre-K, to work to make universal pre-K a reality for all 3- and 4-year-old students across this entire city, so that every kid, regardless of what circumstances they're born into, has the opportunity to start their education early, to understand what the opportunities in this great world are, and pursue all of their hopes and dreams on equal footing. We are going to work to make that a reality, and I hope that many of those kids that participate in new pre-K programs have the opportunity to also attend this amazing educational experience at the West End School, soon for boys and girls. So congratulations to the West End School on your amazing accomplishments. Thank you for what you all have done over the past 2 decades, and thank you even more for what you are going to continue to do for boys and girls in our city. You are an important part of our city today and as we move forward. Congratulations, and thank you so much.
As the mayor said, our Councilwoman Tammy Hawkins, we'd like to hear from her.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today to celebrate another momentous occasion for District 1 in West Louisville. I want to say first, thank you to Dr. Ross. This wasn't an easy task. Definitely, this was not for the weak. He said one thing, and that was that Mayor Greenberg showed up. That's half the battle, showing up. I say it way too often that people will give you their money, but they won't give you their time. And time is the only thing in this whole wide world that you don't get back. So I want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone that showed up, especially to the mayor, because he could have been somewhere else. I also want to say thank you to the mayor for continuing to support access for so many things needed and long overlooked in District 1, as well as underserved parts of our city in Louisville. There is nothing like having access to better education right in your own backyard. That speaks volume. It is so many times that we are overlooked because of the part of town that we live in. But the truth is, without our mayor, community leaders, a lot of access would still be inaccessible, such as better systems, processes, education, and job opportunities. These are things the community needs to thrive and will continue to decrease our crime rate. Today, I want to ensure that not only Dr. Ross, Brown Foreman gets their flowers, but Mayor Greenberg receives his for being selfless and understanding that the West deserves the best. That our mayor understands that without access to things as important as better schools, libraries, pools, living accommodations, and career opportunities, this gives our communities more pathways to success. I know it's not easy leading this city. Roles like ours do not come with a handbook. They come with a person with an open mind, heart, vision, and understanding of the culture and community we live in. It takes one street, one block, one project, one community, and one Louisville at a time to revamp our great city, especially a great city where access and equality for all people is not a privilege, but it's a right and a priority. I want to thank District 1 constituents and residents I represent. I want to thank everyone that came to the community meetings and the neighborhood meetings to express their thoughts, opinions, and concerns for this new West End Girls School. Thank you for making your voices heard for what you wanted and deserve for our youth and our community and the betterment of West Louisville. Thank you.
Senator Neal, I think they said about everything they could say, but we need us old guys up here. How are you, sir? Good to see you.
I think they said about everything that they can say. No, actually, I don't have much to say. I think it speaks for itself. Great effort here, right here in the middle of the district. Great work, expanding the reach, digging deep, bringing value, and now it's manifesting itself visually and in the young people that we see walking across. So this is a great work. I want to congratulate everyone involved. I also want to congratulate these great leaders here. These are significant leaders. They give significant time. I interact with them all the time. But I got to tell you, and I agree with what's been said here, it's really the community coming forth and getting the value, wrapping their arms around this initiative, and giving what support we all can do. So I pledge that. I congratulate all that are involved that's made this possible. God bless you all. Let's keep it going. Okay.
This is going to be a fun part for me. 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember exactly when, Jackson Woodward came up to me. He's been a board member here as long as I think I've been here. And he said, we need to go over and talk to Brown Foreman about becoming a partner. And I told Jackson, I said, since year one, Brown Foreman has contributed and supported the West End School. And Jackson quickly said, Paul, you always think big. We got to think bigger. We went and had a meeting with Lawson Whiting and Ralph DeChambert. And we actually had the first meeting was on a call because it was in COVID, right? Right, Jackson? Then we had a meeting, and I'm going to say 3 years ago. And you talk about the West End, you got to talk about Brown Foreman because Brown Foreman was there before any of us. Sorry, Mayor, they beat you to it. But here's the point. Brown Forman didn't just support us, they decided they wanted to become our partner. And we needed a partner. That's what today's all about. We couldn't be here without partnerships. A lot of people in this crowd right here is giving serious money and time to help this thing happen today. But Brown Forman stepped up. And I'll tell you, Campbell, the chair, family members, Augusta, we couldn't be where we are today without you. And we couldn't be here today without Lawson. Lawson and I have worked very closely together, very hard. And the result was Brown Forman made a decision. Got Crystal and Jill over here that were on the foundation committee, made a decision they were going to partner with $20 million. $20 million. But we went on a fundraiser. We started 2 years ago. And as we sit here today, the West End Girls School is projected to cost $11.5 million. I can tell you right now as I stand here, we've raised, collected, or have had pledged $9.7 million. And I look at a lot of people and thank them, Malcolm and Ralph and Ann Gilliam. I mean, it's just amazing that we could raise that amount of money so fast. And here's a practice of the West End School. We never build anything until we have all the money. And I'll talk about that a little bit later when I unveil this thing behind me. But right now, I want to ask Lawson to talk to us because he represents everybody in the Brown Forman family and company. And Lawson, it's my pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you, Paul. My speech just got shorter because I was going to say a lot of the same things. It's great to be up here. Part of me, it's hard to believe it was only 2 years ago that we were in the gym announcing the $50 million commitment that Brown Forman made to the West End of Louisville under, about mostly education initiatives. And we called it Cradle to Career. And it's something that the company has really embraced. And it's great that we have a foundation that can, in conjunction with the company, has enough funding in it that it can make a meaningful impact in the community. And that's what it's all about. And it is Crystal and Jill that do the day-to-day work on that. But I'm very proud of what we've been able to do here. And this is something that not only it's important to me personally, but it also is very important to the company. And so I'm really proud of the initiatives that we've started. And I know the 10-year commitment, I think, is an important part of that. And it's one thing I've learned throughout this whole process is so many of these groups that are trying to do the right things in the community in West End and in other places have to go hand in hand every single year and try to raise money just to keep the school operating. And that is a huge burden on so many of these organizations. And so, the 10-year commitment, I think, can be meaningful because it allows the school to then go focus on some other things, including really educating and growing these young men into proper adults. And the impact that I've seen now over the last few years, because I've only been involved in this for 3 or 4 years, is tremendous. It's impressive, and it put me over the line to say this is the right thing to do for Brown Forman. So now, thinking ahead to the girls' school, that's always also been a bit of a dream of mine. It was, Paul, the first few times we met, it came very quickly that we kind of had the same vision for what I think this town needs a little bit. I think it's developed such a special reputation and has graduated so many fine young men that the girls deserve that same treatment, and the girls need to get that. And I think this is going to be wonderful what's all done. So look, I think this school for the girls, it'll be a place where they can then really find their own passions, they can find their own talents. This school is amazing at drawing out the best in these young kids, and I'm very happy to be part of it. So a special thank you to Dr. Ross behind me here, and Paul. Look, the board of directors that I know many of you that are in the audience today, the Brown family members that are here today, all have contributed to make a very meaningful impact on this, and I'm just glad that we're all here together, and we're here on a beautiful day here in Louisville, where we're going to be able to start the actual building of this girls' school. So it's the beginning. I want you all, I do believe in the power of education, believe in equal opportunities, believe in building a better community for all those that follow in our footsteps. And there's a line that we use at Brown Forman in a lot of our communications. It's called nothing better in the market. It's about being the best in everything that we do. This school will be nothing better in the market. It is going to be an awesome opportunity for some great young men and women, and I'm just very proud to be a part of it. So thank you for coming, and looking forward to the groundbreaking.
I said it's budgeted to cost 11.5 million all in, and we're sitting at 9.7 million. So we decided we're going to come out after the last 1.8 or $2 million in a very aggressive, fun, exciting way. We're going to have what we have determined is the ultimate bourbon raffle. And the reason I say ultimate, because there's people that have convinced me that it's the best bourbon raffle ever put together in the state of Kentucky or in the United States.
Thank you, Paul. I will say that this is the first time I've been to a school campus with all this bourbon without fear of suspension. So the good councilwoman earlier said that this world is put together not just by money, but time. And behind the scenes, there's been an incredible crew of bourbon lovers. Andrea, I'd like you to stand up. If you can stand up, Andrea. Mark, if you can stand up. I don't think he's here, but Jamar, Sherry in the background here. Jonathan, if you can stand up. All these folks and behind the scenes have been trying to shake down every friend they have, every distiller they have, to get what is the greatest bourbon raffle in the history of bourbon. And what you see here is you see an incredible selection of them. You can get a bottle from 1913, an early times bottle from 1913. So a bottle that's more than 100 years old, distilled right here in Louisville in 1913. Think about that for a second. If you win with this raffle, you can get that bottle. You can also get a lot of Pappy. That includes a Pappy that was purchased more than 20 years ago. Folks, one of those bottles just sold for $40,000 at auction. $40,000 I just sold at auction. So we have 22 lots that are just littered with products like that. Two of the rarest bottles that you'll find is King of Kentucky from Brown-Forman, donated by Lawson himself. I remember that donation because we were looking at the lots and they were like, Paul came to me and he says, hey, what is one bottle you feel like we're missing? And I said, well, I think King of Kentucky from Brown-Forman could sure put this over the top. I said, I tell you what, I'll send Lawson a guilt trip email, and you have drinks with them and guilt trip them there. So we tapped into Lawson's very own collection for that. We also have in the decanter over here a Brown-Forman release. That at first was only released to the family, and then they put it out. That's been going on auction between $10,000 and $20,000. You have a Michter's 25-year-old. Which people spend upwards to $20,000 to $25,000 for, and all it takes is a $100 raffle from you to purchase. It's online now, and I'm telling you all, this is the greatest bourbon raffle that has ever been put together, and the bourbon community does this time and time again. Whenever there's a disaster, whenever there's a charity in need, you see the bourbon community come together, whether it's the distillers or it is the connoisseurs. We raise money to help our communities, and that's why the councilwoman's words earlier about time meant so much to me, because the bourbon community is always investing money, but more importantly, they show up and they help our community, and I'm so excited about the West End School, the West End Girls School. This is going to be awesome. Cheers, and thank you, Mayor, for being here.
This is the kickoff of the raffle. It's the breaking the ground for the girls' school. And we're just proud to be a good neighbor in Louisville, in the West End of Louisville. Thank you, everyone.